is a point of release, a young adult, when you are supposed to be on your own. I can't put an age tag to it. At that point, it's expected that you have been released from your parents. At this point, parents should now begin to realize they shouldn't keep on controlling them, exerting on them, let them get frustrated and sad. Within that stage, you now have the stage of responsibility.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for today's teachings. I was really blessed. Every time I listen to the words you teach, I'm really impacted. My life is different. But today you spoke about the 5 stages of a person's life, and I would just want you to shed more light.
Thank you so much. You see, there have been several thoughts by human growth and so many thoughts about human development, either sociologically, psychologically, physically, and even spiritually. Or sometimes spiritually, people can talk about the immature stage, and they can also talk about the mature stage, and then the stationary stage. But, and there's also a man called Maslow, we talk about the development of people. But I have 4 or 5 things that I see in life. There's one phase which we call the restricted phase. That's the phase when you are young, you are a baby, you are a toddler, you are infant, and at that point you are restricted. You can't have your own volition, you can't have your own will. Whatever you want to do has to depend on your father or your mother, or your guider, or your carer. Then you move on to the point when you now become a bit more sensible, common sense, you can do things on your own, which I call the stage of restraint. At that point, the best they can do to you is to restrain you. I tell you, don't go here, don't go there. They can't correct you. Although in the developing part of the world, they can spank you, they can shout on you. In the other world, they may say no. Then at that point is the point when you are still under parental guidance or you have some degree of autonomy. Then there's a point of release. That's when you now leave the teenage group and you're almost like a young adult, when you are supposed to be on your own. I can't put an age tag to it. Some say 18, some say 19, some 20, some 21. Well, depending. At that point, it's expected that you have been released from your parents. We can now make independent decisions. You can now walk on your own. At this point, parents should now begin to realize that these children should be released. They shouldn't keep on controlling them or exerting on them. Let them get frustrated and sad. Then within that stage, you now have the stage of responsibility, where you expect a child to be responsible for everything about his life. He buys his house, gets his job, he has his car. As I always say, that responsibility is acting with ability. And irresponsibility is, as someone said, acting with disability. Then I had the last stage, which is the stage of returns. Now, in many of the other parts of the world, people don't care for their parents. They don't care for their mentors. They don't care for their siblings. But in the traditional and Christian setting, you come to a period where you bring returns. You now begin to take care of those who have helped you. You now begin to be responsible to people around you. You now begin to take care of your parents, your mentor, your friends. And that's the time we do what Abraham Lincoln said. So not Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy. Do not think of what your nation can do for you. You should think of what you can do for your nation. So at that point, you don't become a taker. You are now a giver. You come to a place and there's a problem, you want to fix it. You come to a place, there's a challenge, you face it. You are no more a grumbler and you are no more quarreling. As I said in the second service sermon, that a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one plucketh it with her hands. That is, a wise man builds his house. A house is anything that has to do with your life, your institution, your edifice. This is a wise woman builds her house by worry. You don't build your house by whining. You don't build your house by giving another person the responsibility. You don't build your house by looking back and blaming others. You wisely, strategically, with understanding, with prayer, settle down and build your house.